Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. Week number 11 of the 2018 racing season. And, well, we had a bit of a dilemma. You stay home for one of the big racing days in California, or would we head to New York for our first try in the Empire State in 2018? And by a nose, the big cap at Santa Anita got beat by the big A in Ozone Park, New York. Aqueduct Racing and a great stakes-packed card. It's the Gotham Stakes Day. The late pick four starts in race number 7. It ends in race number 10. All stakes in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. Folks, first up is our East Coast handicapper. By car, by boat, by train. He can get to the big A in just, a number of ways. Probably a few other ways he can get there as well. He's joining us from his home right there in Staten Island, New York. Ray Torado, I'm sorry it took 11 weeks to get us on your home turf, but, it's kind of been a brutal winter. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It has been brutal, and aqueducts can be sometimes suspect in the wintertime. And most of the big boys go down to Gulfstream, and it's just winter racing can be very brutal over here. But there's some hard knocking horses, and they do try. The owners make some good money, and it is what it is.
All right, and you know what? Up next, he's back. He took a 1 week hiatus. We were just two broke guys handicapping last week, so he's our West Coast handicapper. He's from his home in Temecula, California. Joe English, nice to have you back. How you doing, man?
I'm well, Rich. Thanks. It's good to be back. Glad to be back at the Big A. Ray and I spent lots of not just winter days, but a lot of winter days. But that was when it used to be the inner track. Now that's a second turf course, and they actually use the main track, so it's a little different. So I'm glad Aqueduct could get a nice card like this together, and we could play it.
Absolutely. Okay, folks. Last week was Gulfstream Park. I promise you, this is not a recording because we went deep. We got knocked out in leg one, and we converted just 50% of our picks. Gulfstream Park had a very difficult sequence for us, so we're just not even thinking about that. Time for a brief weather update from Ozone Park, New York. The forecast for Saturday calls for, well, sunshine in the morning, followed by mostly cloudy skies during the afternoon. A high of 43 degrees. That would chill me to the bones, but probably a nice day for you guys. Winds are at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Sounds like a delightful day, Torado.
43 is not actually all that bad.
No, 43 is nice. Yeah. It's gonna change. Watch when the clock gets turned forward tomorrow, the sun's gonna tilt, and we're gonna have some 50 and 60s. So we're looking forward to it. Yeah, right.
They're not turning the clocks forward till Sunday. Nice try. So, all right, a total of 10 races. There are 4 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick 4. It begins in race number 7. It concludes in race number 10. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick 4 post time.
Let's do it.
All right, up first, race number 7. The approximate post time is 4:08 p.m. Eastern time. They are going 1 mile on the main track. It is the Stymie Stakes. Purse is $150,000 for 4-year-olds and upward. 7 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 6. Vulcan's Forge, trained by Todd Plitcher and ridden by Junior Alvarado. 5-2 on your Aqueduct morning line. The race is named in honor of Stymie, the handicap champion of 1945. He was a $1,500 claimer, and he got inducted into the United States Racing Hall of Fame in 1975, making 131 starts. Stymie won 35, he placed in 33, and he came in third 28 times. Back then, his earnings of $918,000 set a record. In the Blood Horse magazine list of the top 100 racehorses of the 20th century, Stymie was listed as number 41. Joe, 131 starts. They don't make them like they used to, man.
No.
Who do you like in the Stymie, buddy?
I think it's funny. I actually kind of want to place a bet to see if in the, I guess if you count all 20 horses in the Derby, they would they before as of the Derby they won't get to 131. I can almost guarantee you that. And if you count them all, even after the Derby and for the rest of their careers, they probably won't get to 131. So yeah, it's obviously Stymie was just a different racehorse. Who do I like? I came up with a pace scenario that seems pretty simple to me. It doesn't look like there's more than two horses that are going to be on the lead. And based on the way the track is played, or at least based on the back page of the Brisk PPs, early pace types have a big advantage at the mile. So I decided to just take the two speed horses and go with them as my A picks. I like the four the most, and I think Hit It Once More is going to be the main speed. Gary Siak is a capable trainer, despite the fact that he's got an anemic percentage at the meet. He's got 2 wins in the PPs, and both of those 2 wins are on easy leads, and both were accomplished on tracks not labeled fast. I don't know if the track is labeled fast after yesterday's storm. Mike says even if it is, there might still be a little moisture in it, so that probably can't hurt this horse. He's got a decent record over the strip, two wins and a third from 4 starts. And if he's allowed to get an easy lead, I think he can take these all the way. That drill on March 4th, 48 over the Belmont training track, 6 best of 100 is pretty strong. So to me, he's the likeliest early leader, and based on the track profile, I would have to include him. And if I get 8-1, if I get anywhere near 8-1, that would be a great price. The other horse that has speed is the second choice in the morning line, I believe, and that's the 2 Harlan Punch. Most tactical in the field. He's basically won from on the lead or off the pace for David Jacobson. He's obviously he's also the owner, not just the trainer of this horse. The jockey combination with he and Dylan Davis has been good of late. 6 of 13, and he's been aboard for the Geldings' last 3 wins. 2 of those are at this distance, none at the stakes level, and I find it interesting that he's coming back from a win just 6 days ago, and that was at his lifetime best Brisk figure. He does get a test for class today, but I think Dylan Davis, who's riding well, will try not to let Hit It Once More get away. But I think those 2 are going to be the first 2. I kind of think maybe Hit It Once More probably gets the lead, and Harlan Punch decides to let him go and then just tip outside just so that he doesn't get stuck inside. But Harlan Punch could actually be the one who's on the lead, and if he is, Hit It Once More might be in a little bit of trouble. But again, if you can get 3-1 on Harlan Punch, that's a pretty square price. I kind of think it may go down just a little bit based on that last race and the fact that the horse won just a week ago. So I went with the 2 and the 4 as my A picks. I did like the 3, the backside of the moon, and the 1, Secure It Is, as my B underneath. Okay. Backside of the moon won his last by a nose at 9 furlongs, and he lost a race not that long ago to the recent Hal's Hope winner, Economic Model, for Chad Brown. I think he'll be in the group chasing the 2 speed horses. And if somehow they duel each other into submission or they both falter, this horse could get a piece. And Secure It Is won both starts that Manny Franco has been aboard, both in short fields. He's won on fast and off footing. And I wouldn't ever really want to discount anything that Jimmy Jerkins sends out. He'll get his ground saving trip. And what's going to have to happen is he's going to have to probably get out and around the speed or hope that the rail opens up at some point. If the speed collapses and to just so that he avoids getting stuck in behind tiring speed and get shuffled back even further. So I went with the inside runners as my picks. The 2 and the 4 were my A's, and the 1 and the 3 were my B picks in the Stymie. Ray?
As far as I know, this race used to be a mile and 8, I believe, and graded. So
I thought it was longer than that, actually.
The Stymie, because
I thought it might have been longer than that, but I could be wrong.
Might be a mile, yeah. But it was lost its grade status, so it's like now it's just the $150,000 ungraded stake. But anyways, 1 mile, 1 turn. You're right, Joe. The speed here has been very good. 77% of EP types have been winning. And I went to the inside horse, number 2, like you mentioned, Holland Punch. David Jacobson had the habit of doing this, bring horses back in short rest. He's in good form. He should get a good trip, ground saving. He should be on the inside, and he'll probably chase the 4. Um, and then also, probably backs of the moon too. Those horses be up there, but he's in good form. He's came off his career top, and he's 3 for 6 at Aqueduct, 5 of the money, and he likes the mile distance. He's 4th rate, so that's why I like some of these horses. They haven't really won in a mile. And he's won it 4 times and 7 in the money out of 8 times. So he likes the distance, and I'm gonna put him on top. He should have a good decent price. He's stepping up, but not much of a step up. But it's a small rise in class. I do like number 6, Vulcan's Forge, the favorite. Pletcher, and he's here, trying to win here, and he's also stretching out from the toboggan. He had a good run, just missed that race, and he was a decent player. I mean, if he's gonna try and close, it's gonna be tough for him. But going a mile, maybe he might be able to get there. But he'll to need a really wicked speed duel. We did race the Cigar Mile, so he's dropping in class here, and no small layoff from January. But Pletcher's Pletcher. He puts his horses in a position where they can win. So I gotta respect that. So for me, I'm just gonna go short here. My ticket's built on the later races, so I'll just go 2-6 for now on my ticket. Rich, what do you think about the stymie?
You guys already covered my horse. I just went with the 3 inside horses on my ticket so far. So my top pick is the 2, Harlan Punch. Strangely enough, I bet against David Jacobson horses like you would not believe out here in California. I mean, when his horses, especially if they're favored, I never pick them. So this makes sense, right? I'll go the opposite way. And now that we're over in New York, I will go ahead and go with Jacobson horse. I was looking for the early speed types, just like you guys saw. Handicap the back page first. Saw that there was 7. Ray, I was going to ask you, are we at Santa Anita? 77%
Wow.
going in the easy time. So
merry-go-round.
yeah, and again, a 1 mile turn race. So the only knock that I had on this one, Joe, is that I have actually heard from a good authority that it's a great advantage to have the outside post in a 1 mile single turn race at the Big A. But I did stick with the 2 there, and my other horse was I actually went backwards. I went 2-3-1 on my ticket here. I like I don't know who Leo O'Brien is. This is not a real popular jockey or trainer, and you see he didn't have a huge stable in 132 total starts just in 2017. Kendrick Carmouche has been riding very well, and a horse who won the Jazzle just recently. Again, only a 4-horse field. And not a real flashy race, not a big number at a good speed figure and things like that. But again, looking to try and get by the Todd Pletcher horse out there, who looks like he might be profile challenged in this particular race, I'll just say. So I just went with the 2-3 on the top, and I have the 1 underneath. So I have the Secure It Is as my B pick, although I will tell you on my ticket tomorrow, I think that horse is probably going to make it in as well. I like the Secure It Is horse.
Ray and I both know who Leo O'Brien is.
He's a good turf trainer.
He's been training in New York since I was a kid. So take that for what it's worth.
There we go.
Yeah, basically since we were playing the horses at the OTB.
Yeah, he's pretty good on turf.
So he's been around. He's been around forever.
He's respectable.
Yeah, he give him a good horse. He can get the job done.
Yeah, Leo O'Brien.
So I went
many times.
I just used my 2 inside. I used the 2 and the 3. Ray used the 2 and the 6, and Joe used the 4 and the 2. And I will go ahead and come on back. Ta-da! All right, and we are going to move along to race number 8. And race number 8, they're also going 1 mile on the main track. It's the Heavenly Prize Invitational Stakes. Purse is $150,000 for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward. 8 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 1. It's Divine Miss Gray, trained by Danny Gargan and ridden by Kendrick Carmouche. 2-1 on the Aqueduct morning line. All right, I didn't get to tell you any history, so here it is. Operating near the site of a former conduit of the Brooklyn Waterworks that brought water from eastern Long Island to the Ridgewood Reservoir, Aqueduct Racetrack opened on September 27th, 1894 by the Queens County Jockey Club. The track was named Aqueduct after the former Ridgewood Aqueduct. And here's some of the notable occurrences that have occurred at the Big A over the year. The Hall of Fame horse Cigar won the first 2 races in his 16-race winning streak at Aqueduct. Champion racehorse Secretariat was retired here before the public on November 6, 1973. He was actually paraded for the last time to the public, and he took his last steps on a racetrack here. And my favorite stat, right, is that Pope John Paul II celebrated Mass in front of a crowd of 75,000 at Aqueduct on October 6, 1995. Ray, is there any truth to the rumor that you and Joe headed out to the Big A after getting a blessing from the Pope back in 1995? That couldn't hurt.
Oh, yeah. We were there. We took the A train.
I had moved to Southern California by then.
Oh, 95.
94. I moved in 94. So as much as I could have used the blessing, I was not there.
But it's believable.
Actually, what I loved about Aqueduct was the Breeders' Cup and Proud Truth running down the stretch. I think it was 85. Yeah.
Good point. That's the second. The second.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, they had.
All right.
And the last one Aqueduct had, by the way.
The last. Yeah.
And probably the last one they will have. But anyway.
All right, Ray. Who do you like in the Heavenly Prize Stakes?
Well, I'm gonna try and beat the favorite here. She looks good, but just 2-1. Just coming slightly off, but I'm gonna go with the horse here who has some potential. Number 7, Holiday Disguise. She's 4 for 5. She's a New York bred, stepping up into open company. She's been running well. She'll have to prove a little bit to beat these, but she's in good form. Linda Rice is a great trainer. She's been keeping her solid, and she's stretching out a little bit. Well, she raced the mile distance last time, but she's been closing, sprinting. But I think at this mile level, she will probably be closer to her lead, and she'll be in good position on the outside, like you said. And she's 2 for 2 at Aqueduct. She's and the jockey combination is 41%. That's in 32 races, so they've been hitting pretty good. Second race off a layoff, so 7-2. I'll take my chance, and go this Harlan Hollis filly. Underneath, I was gonna play number 3, Highway Star. He's a hard knocking horse. We've played this horse a few times. Dropping back from class, and she won a few good races, the Ruffian, and competed in grade 1s, and she's been competitive. If you just throw out the sprint race at Del Mar, and that was just she just collapsed. But she's been in good form. She's first, second, third in most of her races, so she's a solid horse. She should be a stalker, should help. And track profile, of course, same distance, 77%. So she's one of those EP types, and she's 8 for 15 in her lifetime, and 3 for 4 at Aqueduct. So she likes the track, obviously. So I think she'll be a contender here. So I'm gonna go short here, 7-3. Try and beat out the 1 here, and try and save this pick 4. I'm sorry. So Joe, what do you think about the Heavenly Prize? It's contentious race.
Yeah, but it's funny. I see the pace scenario pretty similar to the other race, the Stymie. So I'm also going to take a shot with a horse who I think is going to be on the lead, and I'm hopeful that there's some kind of advantage towards speed. Obviously, the track profile tells me that. Bishop's Pond. Franco is having, Manny Franco's having a solid meet. If she's left alone, she's dangerous. She's got 3 wins on the PPs, and if you see them all, they're all wire to wire, including the last race around the 1-turn mile at Laurel in the 38 go-go. She was 6-1 in the morning line that day. I had a chance to take a brief look at on YouTube the DRF preview with Matt Bernier and Dan Illman, and she was actually 6-1 on the morning line that day. She was bet down to 7-2, and obviously she responded to win by 5. Like I said, Manny Franco gets aboard. Another guy I don't want to discount is Jason Service. Look at that record, 28% for the last for the last year and the first part of this year. I hope that the presence of the 5 Frostwise won't keep her from being on the front end. She may have to work a little bit harder than she would normally have to, given that one's presence. But the fact is, she's a need. To me, she looks like a need to lead type, and she's going to be drawn inside. So she's probably going to go to the lead. She'll probably last longer than Frostwise. The question is, how long will she last? And at 12-1, I'll take the shot that she's going to fire fresh, like she did at Delaware in September. The 7, I don't need to go into any further. Holiday Disguise is basically what, one of the horses that Ray liked, or actually his top pick. And I'm going to just expand a little bit on what you said, Ray, about the horse coming off the layoff. The race was good, but and really good, obviously, to win by 3 lengths going away. But I see the comment that the horse was geared down. I don't think it was so strong a race that the horse is going to bounce. I think the horse has a chance to improve again. So I have to include Holiday Disguise on my ticket. And despite not always necessarily liking to bet favorites, Divine Miss Gray is tough. She's won half her starts, won her last 2 by open length. She's obviously the most versatile in the field. She's won from on the lead. She's won from off the pace. And the one thing she could do is she could blow up my pace scenario, figuring, okay, well, if they drew inside, the best way for her to avoid traffic trouble is for her to go to the lead. And if that's the case, then my pace scenario goes out the window. And she's had 1 graded stakes try, and losing the test to American Gal and Fabian from the Baffert barn is not so bad. And the funny part about her is, if you look at that first race in the PPs from March 15th, 2017, you could have had this horse for $16K. This horse was claimed for $16K, and she just won $100,000 stake last time. She's got it going for another $100,000 stake this time. So about a year ago, you could have had her for 16. Now, I'm not sure if you could probably get her, but it would cost you a lot more than the 16 it would have cost you back then. So I have to include the 1 on my ticket. So I went 3 deep with my A picks, the 1, the 2, and the 7. I was kind of against Highway Star, and she's as hard knocking, and I even bet her on Breeders' Cup Day at 18-1 that day. I was actually very high on her. I thought she had a really good chance to win. The only reason I bet I'm against her is because, and maybe this was just a Breeders' Cup hangover. If she was, if she's a grade 1, grade 2 animal, or she was a grade 1 or grade 2 animal, that race last time out, she should have won handily. She wasn't even bet like she wasn't even bet as the favorite that day. And to not win a grade 3, they came home really slow. Indulgence, not really that much of a horse, at least in my opinion. So I don't know if, like I said, maybe it was the Breeders' Cup hangover. Maybe she's just not what she used to be. She does run well off the bench, but I would use her as a B pick on my tickets. But as a short price, I was going against it. Plus the barn is ice cold 0 for 15 at the meet as well. So I was kind of against it. And and Angel Arroyo is on another horse in this race. So basically he for whatever reason, he's not riding Highway Star. And I don't, again, could have been a trainer or owner's decision, but I just kind of wonder why that's the case. And given her background, she should probably be closer to the morning line favorite than she is at 3-1. So I just wanted to play against, if I was going to play against either of the favorites in this race, it was going to be against Highway Star. So 1, 2, and 7 for me in the heavenly prize. Rich?
And I didn't play against any of the favorites in this race. I used them all. So my top choice actually was Highway Star. And I have Holiday Disguise as well. And I believe, unfortunately, that I did like, the favorite here. As a matter of fact, Divine Miss Gray, I thought was probably, again, not just your favorite, but your most likely winner, at least from the way it looks like on the paper there. I think I put Highway Star, hoping that she bounces back to her previous form. Looking at the Breeders' Cup and the Breeders' Cup hangover and kind of the forgiveness angle, give her a little bit of time off. She is the more quality angle out of them all. So I did have her as my top choice. I like the switch over from Angel Royal, and I understand that's a big angle to me. Usually, is the fact that a jockey move, but I like the move over to Joe Rocco in this particular case here at Aqueduct. So, I, to me, seems like possibly a little bit of a jockey improvement, and I know Joe's not obviously lighting it up quite at this meet. So I have the 3 as my top choice. I do have the 7 on my top line. Unfortunately, I still use the favorite. I've got the 1 here on the top line. And again, I kind of have a feeling that the 1 might be the top pick here. Ray's got the 7 and the 3. He's exactly opposite with me. He does not have the 1 in there. And then Joe's got the 2 as his top choice. He's got the 7, and then he's also got the 1. I am coming on back. And we are moving along to, it is race number 9. This is 6 furlongs on the main track, and it's the Tom Fool handicap. It's a grade 3. Purse is $200,000. It's a handicap for 4-year-olds and upward. 9 starters, and your morning line favorite at 9 to 5 is in post number 6. Great stuff. Trained by David Jacobson and ridden by Dylan Davis. The race is named for U.S. Hall of Fame racing inductee Tom Fool, who was champion 2-year-old of 1951, and he was U.S. Horse of the Year in 1953. He is one of 4 horses to win the New York Handicap Triple. That consists of the Metropolitan Handicap, the Suburban Handicap, and the Brooklyn Handicap. Joe, you already heard me say it. I got to admit, I never bet David Jacobson horses in California. Should I be looking at them in New York?
Oh no, he's definitely much more a threat than he was when he was in Southern California. No question about it. So yeah, you definitely have to consider them. Again, now Jacobson is the trainer of the 3. I don't have the horse on my ticket, and I just want to make sure that I'm reading that right. Okay, yes, Jacobson is the trainer of the 3. This is one of those, like Rich was saying earlier, you handicap the back page first, and horses that come from far back over the Aqueduct strip going 6 furlongs don't generally stand. I'll say they don't stand much of a chance. 75%. It's really amazing that 77% at the mile, but only 75 going 3 furlongs. It's going 6 furlongs. It's pretty funny. But see, in this race, though, I know there is at least some legitimate sprint speed, considering that the Green Grotto, well, not the Green Grotto and Favorite Tail are in this field. So I think the pace scenario is it's gonna be at least a normal pace scenario for this level, and maybe even faster than normal, depending on what these 2 do out of the gate. I'm gonna take a horse who's gonna sit a little off the pace, and that's the 5, Skylar's Scramjet. For Michelle Nevin, the horse has been terrific. If you can you take the horse when the horse is trained by Michael Mariana? The horse looks like a completely different animal than when the horse has been trained by Michelle Nevin, including the maiden win. The horse has 4 wins lifetime, all for Michelle Neville, basically 4 for 5. 1 loss to favorable outcome from the Chad Brown barn is not so bad. He's been able to attend paces, an above par pace for the level and still win. He's got tactical speed, undefeated at 3 starts at the distance, has been able to win on off going or on fast going. And as a 4-year-old, he can probably still get better than he is now. And if you get 9 to 2 on the morning line, I'd be willing to take it. I understand that Dylan Davis obviously went for the Jacobson runner and the morning line favorite. Trevor McCarthy, the people from Laurel know him. He's a Maryland-based jockey, and obviously he's having a pretty, not spectacular meet, but 13% within a new jockey colony in a new state. That's nothing to scoff at. He's been holding his own at least. So I would take the 5. I think the 5 is going to sit a really nice trip off the 2 speeds. But I will take one of the other speeds in case it happens to break down. My second choice is the 9 Favorite Tail. And if you look back in his PPs, It's my notes say once upon a time finished third behind some horse named Run Happy in the Breeders' Cup Sprint back in 2015. Yes, that was 2.5 years ago. But the one thing is he won't be on the rail this time because Green Grotto is going to be there, being that he drew the rail and he's going to break and run well. And he's had some rest since the two races at Laurel. I think kind of maybe what happened in the fire plug was that he came, as at that point, a 7-year-old gelding to run 12 races 12 days apart. He won the Dave's Friend, and then to try and run him back again 12 days later, that might have been not necessarily the best move. So I'm gonna give him a chance, given that he's got some time off in between. He's got the bullet work on February 28th is the best of 50, and I think depending on how strong Green Grotto is on the lead, I think it may actually happen that Favorite Tail inherits the lead if Green Grotto is if his form continues to be at a lesser level than we've seen with him before. Favorite Tail's a 6 furlong specialist, and I like to switch to Kendrick Carmouche as obviously a high quality jockey winning at 16% in New York. He's the one that's going to be on the lead when they turn into the stretch, and if he can get the last 2 furlongs, he's got obviously he'll win this race. So he was my second choice, and I do have one other A pick, and that's the 6th Du Cher, looking for his 3rd straight win. Won the Gravesend last time out. A little further back that day, and I think he's going to be a little bit closer to the pace today. He won 7 races last year, 5 races. He's won 5 races at the distance, and he's got an almost perfect record over the main track at Aqueduct. 4 wins, 3 wins from 4 starts and a third. He's run well fresh, and Ray's already mentioned the Rice Alvarado connection, 13 for 32 at the meet, and he's another one with a bullet drill over the Belmont training track going 5 furlongs. So again, he may need to be closer to the pace, especially in a larger field. And I think I think Junior Alvarado will know that, unless somehow maybe a speed duel does develop between Green Grotto and Favorite Tail, where Du Cher can be a little bit further back. I'm going to trust that Junior Alvarado knows %. He'll know what he's doing. So I went 5, 6, and 9 as my A's. I did like the 10 a little bit as a B pick, only basically because this is his second start for Rudy Rodriguez, and if you leave Rudy Rodriguez out of races at Aqueduct, you're doing that at your own peril. And heck, Rudy Rodriguez at 15-1. Yes, I see he's 0 for 6 at the track, but again, another one with 5 wins at the distance. Much improved second last time out in his first start for Rudy Rodriguez, and now obviously second start out. At 15-1, I'm willing to take the chance. So he would be a B pick he'd be on my second line. But he's somebody I would want to include if, for whatever reason, one of my other horses scratched out. So 5, 6, and 9 on the A line, and the B line is the 10 Spartiatus for Rudy Rodriguez. Ray, I think I've talked too much. I need to go get another drink. So take over for me, will you?
Yes. Respect Rudy Rodriguez.
Yeah, no question.
No doubt.
No question.
And respect Green Grotto too. 54-1 last year. He beat it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This is, to me, this was the toughest race of the season.
This is a tough race, yeah.
Yeah, really difficult.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame anybody if they just hit the all button and moved on.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm with you.
I'm 4 deep, and I could go more. I'll start with number 5. I like your horse, Scarlet Scramjet. Stepped up a class. Been in great form. Show now you got this horse running the right way, and he's been running some really good figures from those claiming races. So this old 3 BG angle undefeated at the distance, and like you say, 3-4 at Aqueduct. So this horse he's got a great chance to win here. It's my top pick. Joe McCarthy is also riding well at the meet. I do like number 3. Great stuff. Dylan Davis gets on his David Jacobson horse. Won the toboggan. That's one of those races of the winter meet. Grade 3. Won 11-1. So He's been running well. He's 2 for 5 with Aqueduct, and Dave Jacobson is with Dylan Davis 46%. So they're riding well together, and he's always a force over here. Um, it might be a little behind the track scenario here as a closer, but if he could just stay on the inside and get a decent trip, maybe the spear collapse and its horse could come up the rail somehow and win the race. I do like number 6, Do Share, the high weight here, 120 pounds. This is a handicap race, based on his credentials, and Graves the Gravesend winner, another race in the winter meet. So this horse likes the track, 3 for 4. Yeah, he won 7 races last year, so he's hopefully can continue as a 5-year-old and have a good year. That bullet workout 1 minute on the Belmont train track, that's pretty good. That's Belmont is usually this time of year is very heavy, and that's the train track too. So the train track usually um gives slow times. So that's a really good workout. So he's in shape and he's ready to roll. Linda Rice got his horse going the right way. I do like number 4. 3-5 India. Guess who? Chad Brown. How could we leave him out?
Mhm.
We have to try at least, huh? Blink is on. Manny Franco aboard. Um, his horse is he's now hasn't won an Aqueduct. It had 2, second and a third, but coming off the layoff, maybe he'll run well fresh. You gotta respect Chad Brown, 5-1. This might be the under the radar horse. So if we could include him, it'd be nice. Um, he had a decent last year, 4 highway at a measly 130 pounds, finished second, and the Gravesend finished third. So he's also been in this. He's been competitive, and maybe just need a little freshening. They're trying the blinkers, so let's see what happens to this horse. So I go with 5-3-6-4. And I could mention basically all the other horses too. Favorite Tail and Green Grotto and Sporadius. They all have a shot here, I tell you. Rich, this is wide open. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it is.
Uh,
I only went too deep here. I agree with what I've heard so far. I think it is wide open. I went two share on the top. I've got the 6 as my number 1 horse. The horse is actually, if you look, 3 for 3 on the last 3 tries in the dirt. 3 for 4 at Aqueduct. 5 for 9 at this distance, 2 seconds and 1/3. Linda Rice, very solid trainer, with Junior Alvarado aboard. Those two are 41% together. I thought this was actually worthy of being out of this sequence, probably my best pick. And the reason I only went too deep in this race, despite the fact that it's a tough race, is week after week we've been finding that one race where we end up going so deep, and because we don't have a single anywhere else, you end up kind of blowing up your ticket. So I'm trying to keep my one race from exploding here, because I've already gone 3 deep in my first 2 legs. My second horse, ironically enough, and Ray called it, I'm just kind of concerned about getting texts and bringing up the fact that Chad Brown has knocked us out of the pick 4 again. 3-5 India is a very solid horse. As a matter of fact, within half a body length of Duchère in that last one. So if you like Duchère, as I do, then you're getting Manny Franco and Chad Brown and 36% combination together. A little bit more of a stalker than pure speed horse, but obviously again going to be Chad Brown and Manny Franco, and off a little bit of a layoff there. I think that could be what'll help this horse to go ahead and get over the top. So I just went 6-4 here. I was really tempted to include the David Jacobson horse. Great stuff with Dylan Davis, who's just been so hot lately. But again, I tried to go around the favorite here, so I just went 6-4. Ray went 3-4-5-6, and Joe went 5-9-6. I'm going to come on back, and we will move along to our finale. And that is race number 10. It is 1 mile on the main track. It is the Gotham Stakes, a grade 3. The purse is $300,000 for 3-year-olds only. There are 50 Kentucky Derby points that will be awarded to the winner of the Gotham Stakes. 9 starters, and your money line favorite starts from post number 6. Free Drop Billy, trained by Dale Romans and ridden by Dylan Davis. 9-5 on the Aqueduct morning line. The race is named for New York City, which in past years was often dubbed Gotham City. The Gotham Stakes is the final local prep to the Wood Memorial Stakes and an official prep race for the Kentucky Derby. A number of Kentucky Derby winners have competed in this race, including U.S. Triple Crown winner Secretariat. The event was inaugurated in 1953 at Jamaica Racetrack, and following that facility's closure, it was moved to Aqueduct Racing for the 1960 season. Joe, well, I believe, Ray, you are up and you are getting the finale. Who do you like in the Gotham Stakes?
Well, I'll tell you, Aqueduct has confused me with his 3-year-old pups. They've,
Uh-oh.
I mean, first they got the Jerome at mile and 16th. Then they got the Withers at a mile and an eighth. Then they get the Gotham at 1 mile, and then back to Wood at mile and eighth. So what are they doing? Honestly, I mean, these horses are the Withers. I have no idea why they're making a mile and eighth at like that. Now they to turn back. If you ran in the Withers, you got to turn back and then go a mile and eighth back in the Wood. They're gonna be shot at Derby time. That's why all these races have lost their greatest status and dropped down and down to twos and threes and NYOA better get their act together. I tell you. But anyways, um, I'm gonna take a shot here with an up and coming horse. Number one, Dial Operator. He's 2 for 2. He's coming from Laurel, Jason Service, well respected. He ran well. So sprinting, he closed. Um, and he picked up a lot of lengths. He had a good late pace figure, driving, and broke his main last year, came back this year in a strong race, an optional claiming race. But I wish I could take a shot. Just thinking about the rail and the pace scenario here. This horse is going to be in the inside. He's going to get a great trip. He'll probably be closer than what he's been showing. So he's stretching out. Dialed in could run, pretty far. So I don't think the distance will be any problem here. Trevor McCarthy gets aboard, and separates off a layoff. And I just didn't think this horse is just gonna do very well. Stretching out to the mile. So that's my top pick, and he'll be a good price. Because these horses, they've just been beating each other. French and Philly, free drop Billy. And I just want a new face here, just to see how he does. I'm taking a shot with this horse. I do like free drop Billy, number 6. Dylan Davis, Dale Romans, really one bad race in his career with the British Cup Juvenile. Grade 1 winner in the British Cup Futurity. So this horse has class. He came back in the Holy Bull. Second to Audible, no disgrace. That was probably a speed favorite track, and he just closed for second. Pick up the pieces there. 7 lengths clear of the third horse. So he ran a good race, and he should move forward for that race and be in contention. He's a little against the grain of the track, so being a closer on this track, but he should run pretty well. I do like number 3. Beautiful shot. Keith DeSomo, Chips' horse from the West Coast. I guess are they avoiding Baltimore? Most likely. And this is a good spot for the horse to get some points. The Callaway Farm, they're pretty smart. They're looking for just to get points to get into the Derby, and this horse is pretty good. He finished. He's 2 for 3. No shame finishing behind Marino, who's a good horse out there. So this horse comes off a layoff, trying the East Coast, and at 8-1, Angel Royal picks up the mount. He's having a pretty good meet. So they might be under the radar, and they could flourish at the mile. And I do like number 5, French of Fire. This horse raced in Jerome and the Withers. The only bad race, again, Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So he's been a local, horse has been really good. 4 out of 7, and won a few races. Won the Grade 1 Champagne. He beat the Good Magic, so that's the Breeders' Cup winner. And this horse just see, here it is, right in the Jerome, back to Withers, and then going to turn back to the Gotham 1 mile. So he should run well. 5-2 is a decent price. You probably get more like 2-1. and maybe lower. But everybody, jump on this horse and Free Drop Billy. As far as the odds are, but I took a shot with the one. So that's my here 1, 6, 3, and 5 for me in the Gotham. Joe, what's your opinion about the Gotham? You like anybody else?
Well, actually, no. We're on the same horses, not in the exact same order.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's enough. I think there's a lot of pace in this race. I think it's going to be between Cove Blue, Nine Route, and Old Time Revival. I think they're all going to be on near the lead. They're also all 15 to 1 and up in the morning line. So I think the race will. I think the speed will eventually fall apart. But I'm going to go back to Free Drop Billy here. Like you were saying earlier, throw out the Breeders' Cup, and he's pretty consistent. And I actually think maybe I even like the Holy Bull even better than you might have. The only reason is like it's his first start of the year. He made a nice move to get within a half length of the lead, and maybe he flattened out. Given it's his first race of the year, and of course he wasn't going to be fully cranked. This is obviously winning the Holy Bull was not his goal, and maybe and we haven't seen Audible since. I don't believe. Maybe we'll see later that Audible will truly be a really good horse, and this race will definitely even look better. And if Free Drop Billy happens to win tomorrow, obviously Audible's price next time out goes down. He's been working well at Gulfstream. And the other thing I want to say is maybe that Dale Romans, when he had promises fulfilled, maybe he knew what he had. And maybe that's why he decided to skip that race in the Fountain of Youth last week to run in this race in New York. The other thing is, when you think about it, the winner of this race gets 50 points. Rich mentioned it at the top. And basically, it's like, okay, if you win today, you're not under all the pressure that you might need to win next time. Because you win, you get 50 points and you're in. You don't have to do anything your next start. You could basically just run around the track, finish 10th. It wouldn't make any difference. You're still going to have enough points to get in. So I think today's the day that they really want to get this horse his 50 points. I think they're going to go all out to win. Obviously, getting Dylan Davis to ride is a good thing. As Rich mentioned, he was hot, is hot, and remains so. So I'm going to take my chances that Free Drop Billy gets the job done here. And it's funny because of all of the races, I think he would be probably my most likely single, only because I think he's going to improve off of that last race. And if he does, I'm not sure if any of these other horses are really in his in his league. Dial Operator was my second choice. Again, Jason Service saddled both this one and Frenzy Fire. And Ray failed to point out that he's not only did he win his first two, he also drew the rail both times. So actually he's 3 for 3 in drawing the rail, and Dialed In did win the Florida Derby, beating Shackelford. He will have to prove that he'll be able to make a route of ground. Wildcat Air to me is basically more known as a sprinter, or at least when he was doing his best, he was sprinting in Florida. He did try the Triple Crown up until one point, and I think about a mile was as far as he went. But I think with Dialed In, he's okay. And Ray mentioned Beautiful Shot as well. Your California is at least seems perennially to be where the best Triple Crown horses start their career. And he's been, facing Gravitos, who won at Remington Park, and Marino, who won at Arlington Park later. Not bad. So the closing thing, he's been closing over tracks that generally favor speed. So I think that'll help him if the track at Aqueduct is fair. My biggest concern really about him is that I'm not sure how far horses by Trap Shot really want to go. Trap Shot was a sprinter at his best. Obviously, he's a son of Tappet. So I think a mile is probably okay. So I don't think he's really at any level. There's really no concern level for me at the mile. Beyond the mile, well, obviously we'll have to see if he continues down the Triple Crown path. But I think today he'll be fine. So I went 1-3-6 on my top line. And Ray, don't forget tomorrow. And Mr. Baffert will tell you, Mackenzie is also running against Bolt Oro. So he's not just anybody who's running here is not just avoiding Bolt Oro. If you saw Mackenzie's 7 furlong workout in 123 and change a few days ago, he's a pretty serious racehorse. So again, just for the record, 1, 3, and 6 for me. I would go with the 5 and the 9 underneath as B picks, but I've already talked long enough, so I will pass it off to Mr. Sharp. 1, 3, and 6 in the Gotham. Rich, take over. What do you got?
One more horse, Joe, and you and I actually saw him. Another one of those maiden races that we saw at San Diego. Lumbo is also in that race tomorrow as well, and he actually looks like he's a fairly serious horse as well. I have, I may end up singling the 9. I'm not sure, or I was on the 6, excuse me, the favorite. I apologize for that. I know it's the favorite. I know it's Dale Romans and Dylan Davis. If you want to use the forgiveness angle, which you have heard here on the Three Broke Guys, that's a heck of a race to forgive. That last one for the Holy Bull for Free Drop Billy, nobody was going to catch Audible. That horse was long gone, but Free Drop Billy ran a good race. And as you see there, he gets a decent speed figure off of a 3-month layoff. This is the second off that layoff. I hadn't even thought about the idea that Joe brought up, that he moved him up here north to stay away from the horse who went on to win the Fountain of Youth. It looks like all systems are go here. The one other horse that I have on my ticket, and again, it's that forgiveness angle, is the horse that I just couldn't believe ran so badly that last race in the Holy Bull, and that was Enticed, who ends up 14 lengths off it into the end after being favored. So the horse hadn't really done anything wrong up until that point. Had looked like certainly a definite contender for the Derby Trail. And if you want to use the fact that, again, was off of just about a 3-month layoff for Kieran McLaughlin, and you want to give that beaten favorite angle, which actually I do like that angle quite a bit, then I actually have the 9 on there as well. But again, leaning strongly towards going deeper in the first 3 legs and possibly singling the 6 here in the finale. Ray has the 1, the 6, the 3, and the 5. And I believe Joe has the 6 and the 1. Joe, did you also have the 3?
Yes.
And the 3. All right. And I will come back, and then we will go ahead and get over to we've got our pick 4 ticket to show you here. And I think I've got that up. Yep.
Yeah. Great day of racing tomorrow. It's funny, we didn't even talk about any of the Santa Anita stakes. With World Approval running and the big cap and apparently there's a late pick 5 at Tampa that has I know the late pick 4 is all stakes. The late pick 5 I think may also be all stakes at Tampa too. So tomorrow is it seems like it's the first really good Saturday of racing across the country. Obviously we'll get a few more of those before the Derby. Well, at least one more of those we know.
It'll break my heart to miss World Approval tomorrow.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder how the rain, the pending rain.
Oh, that's right.
Will even affect. I mean, because I guess it all depends on what time the rain actually comes in. Ray, if you weren't aware, there's a chance. There's a fairly good chance it's going to rain in Los Angeles tomorrow.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
But the question is, what time is it going to rain? And World Approval's race is early on the card, but I know they're also starting their card at I want to say 11:30 tomorrow.
Oh wow!
Because they changed it based with daylight savings coming and all. They're changing it so that they can get more races in, and they have a 11 race card tomorrow. So, but there is some rain in the forecast, and again, I guess it all depends on when it comes in. I don't think World Approval is going to scratch by any means, but I really don't have any inside information on
that. Well, you know what? I will speak to World Approval tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll have a little discussion, and he'll give me a few and let me know.
If he sounds anything like Mr. Ed, I'm not surprised. Wilbur.
Let's see. Do we want to go? Let's see. This is, if we went this way, I believe it's 48. Turn the top one's green for us.
If we went 4x4 by 3x3, that's 72.
I believe I've got 3x2 on this one.
Right. No, I know, but the 3 is in.
Okay. And
both Ray and I mean,
yeah.
So that would be 72. And to be honest, this is a really difficult sequence. I don't feel anywhere near safe with 72.
Yeah, no, me either.
I mean, because here we go again. Leg one is a 7-horse field, and how many do we got?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
Oh yeah, 4.
I mean, I'm thinking, and I mean, we talked about it, and it's like, do we want to? I know, because I know Rich mentioned it. I talked about it on the show too. It was like, do we want a single free drop Billy and go all here just so that we can survive a leg where we have more than half a field? And I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing the idea out there.
I mean,
I would put that on the 2 of you. Actually, I think you guys have got the 1 and the 3.
No,
in that final leg and things like that. So I've only got the 6 there. So
well, you have the 6 and the 9, but
yeah, he didn't. The 9 didn't make the cut.
Right. Well, yeah, but he wasn't your top pick. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, because we're 4 deep in a 7-horse field, then we're 4 deep in an 8-horse field, 3 deep in a 9-horse field, and 3 deep in a 10 and another 9-horse field. So I'm just wondering if we want to actually let me go back, and while I'm thinking about it, I want to look at the race again. I want to see if there are any redeeming values to anybody other than the horses we picked. Oh, actually, yeah, because the 1 Secure It Is Rich mentioned, I mentioned as a B.
Yeah.
And that's a horse we wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, the 5, the 5. I'm not worried about beating us, to be honest with you. Even though it's McLaughlin and Godolphin, that's one horse I'm not concerned about. And Fellowship, actually, it was a horse I looked at too. God darn it! You know, we have to take our stand somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you, we did like the 1, dial operator. So.
Yeah, he's my second pick. He's your top choice.
Top choice, second pick. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can.
I'm not arguing with it, and I'm definitely not arguing.
Beautiful shot. Probably. It could be one that we could take off the ticket.
Yeah, I can completely agree with you, Ray.
Right.
I completely agree with you. You take.
If I had a choice, I'll go with the 1 over the 3. Just
right. But okay. But are we just going to take the 3 out take the 3 out? We're going to replace it. We're going to replace it with somebody earlier in the ticket to even out to make our chances better. Meaning, put the 1 in leg 1.
Right. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So that would be 5 by 4 by 3 by 2, which is 60.
Mm-hmm. So what we should be comfortable with? Leg 2 should be comfortable, right?
Just because if I happen to be, well, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to, but if I happen to be at a satellite wagering facility at an Indian casino about 2 miles from my house, I'll make win bets on the 5 and the 7 just to make sure I'm covered. just so that either way, it's like either I'm going to lose the pick 5 and then I'll be upset, but at least these 2 horses, the 7 is like 10 to 1 morning line. I don't know what Watershed was morning line.
Okay, so
we're probably in the same.
We're down to the 3, and then I mean, do we want just to stick with the 60 then? Looking here, we've got the 3 and the 9 that are missing off of this line.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. It's funny because I'm kind of torn because I mean, Ray, was the 3 an A or a B for you? The one in leg 10, in race 10.
Leg 10.
Race 10. Beautiful shot. Is he an A or B?
He was an A. He had him on the top line.
Yeah, 1, 3, 6.
No, and this is my.
No, I had 1, 6, 3, 5.
Okay, yeah. but would the 3 be considered an A or a B to you?
Oh, the 3.
Yeah, he was one of your A's, right? I mean.
Yeah, one of my A's. Yeah.
Okay. See, then I want to make I'll vote for taking the 1 off the ticket in leg 1 and putting the 3 back on in leg 4, because if the horse is an A on both Ray's and my ticket, and we lose because he wins that race, we'll be mad because we left an A off the ticket.
Right, yeah.
And the 1 is a B pick for me in leg 1. So I'm like, I don't want to lose. I'd rather lose with my A's losing and a B winning than vice versa.
Agreed.
I don't want a B horse to beat me. I don't want to beat. I'd rather let a B horse beat me than an A horse beat me, especially if I think the horse is an A horse.
Well, actually, my picks, they're all A's. I have no B's.
All right. So 2, 3, 4, 6 with 1, 2.
I would play that ticket as is.
Yeah. 4, 5, 6.
So right.
And 1, 3, 6.
Okay.
The green's on top.
That's the only rationale. I was like, I can't see doing the opposite. So.
All right.
Okay. And this pick 4 will pay because there's no,
Let me.
5.
I'm sorry, Rich. Can you?
It will pay.
Okay. I just want to make sure I write everything down. And of course, there's always the chance that there are scratches, and if there are, we can modify as we go. And Rich, you said it was 4:08 Eastern.
4:08 Eastern time.
1:08 Pacific.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Very good.
Let me come on back, and we'll wrap this up.
It'll definitely gonna pay good. It's why it's open.
Because there's at least 2 races where your your morning line favorites are. I mean, in the sprint, the morning line favorites 7-2. So I mean that race that tells you that's wide open, and the stymie is pretty wide open too. There's no really big favorite in there. So yeah, I think it'll pay decently regardless of the result.
Okay, for those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we're going to be back next week because that's what the 3 Broke Guys do. We're going to get together and take a look at another exciting card. I haven't talked to the guys yet, but I have a feeling we're going to be heading down to the neighborhood of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Just keep our Twitter feed in mind. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the 2 of you.
Glad to be back. It's fun.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching 3 Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.
Night.
Good night.